Okay, just angle runs. One of the things we're going to look at from our power concept. One of the things that you want to think, when we talk power, all right, the first thing that should come to mind is one to kick out and one to lead up. One to kick out and one to lead up. You've got somebody that's kicking out in your scheme, in your gap schemes, and that's going to hold through all the gap schemes that we talk about today. Okay? You've got somebody kicking out, you've got somebody leading up. Let's take a peek, and I'll take you through it, just from a rule standpoint. We'll start with the 80 front. What we're telling, and I'll hit you real quick on what we're telling each one of these guys. The tight end, his base rule in this play, really, if you want to break it down to him, is he's blocking the defensive end. Okay, with the putt. So in this picture. Here's the DN. He's responsible for the defensive end. In this picture, the defensive end's now moved down inside. From a gap scheme or the coaching philosophy, he really is responsible for the C gap. The defensive end is C gap. All right, but if you want to break it down to the kids, say, hey, you know what? You've got the defensive end, and then you'll teach them there's a possibility of a combination call, which we'll get to. Now, the tight end, when he takes that step, remember what I told you. He's a C gap. He has to defend the C gap. As an offensive player, his first step is going to be with his inside foot. It's not going to be with his outside foot. What he wants to do to this guy really is he's selling cutoff. And the hardest thing you got to do is get that guy to believe in that. He's going to take that short step down inside step, and he's attacking an inside target, inside collarbone of the defensive end. Okay? That's his job. Tackle, he's thinking gap scheme. Where is it? Am I covered? If I'm covered, this is my gap. I'd be covered. I've got him. He's not covered, so now he knows that he's going to work together. If I'm uncovered, I'm going to help my partner. Tackle uncovered, he's going to get a deuce, duo, duel, whatever you want to call it. That's telling us that if our front side guard and tackle, when the guard's covered, are working a combination block to the backside backer. Center's going to work backside. The backside guard now is going to take what we call a back step pull. He's going to take a back step pull if he can go back step or he can go open lead, depending on the width that he's going and where the double team is, okay? And I'll show you the examples of that on tape. If we've got a call where we're dueling in here or deucing inside, what this guy's going to do is he's going to take a back step lead pull, allows his shoulders to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage, and allows him to see the defense the whole way through. Backside tackle's going to fill. The fullback now in this scheme, remember what I said, one to kick out, one to lead up. In the two-back power scheme, our fullback is the kick-out man. All right? He's responsible for kicking out. In this picture, it'd be the rover, and this one would be the Sam. He's kicking out the first man outside the tight end. Okay? He needs to work inside out. Tailback, obviously, is the ball carrier. When you look at our film, you'll see that he takes a drop step from a timing standpoint. To go, quarterback's going to reverse out, get the ball to him deep, and give the running back an opportunity to really. And the keys from a back standpoint, as he takes the ball, one of the things he's thinking he's going to hug the double team, and he's going to read it inside out. Two things that he's thinking about. This play, the power play is going to work A gap, B gap, C gap. All right, it's not a bounce play. It's not designed to be a bounce play. And in his mind, he's thinking hug that double team. Okay? Two things that he's thinking about in his mind. Here's just a different look. You go to a 30 look, all right? Where's the defensive end? He's down inside. I know he's my guy. Tackle's covered. So these two are going to work together now. Tackle knows I'm covered. Here's my man. We're going to work together. They're going to make a triple call or tray or trio or whatever you want to call it. And they're working to the backside backer now. Angles, cutting the defense off. Guards working down. Center's working back. We're going to step hinge the backside to seal the backside of the tackle. Fullback's still a kicker up. He's the guy kicking. Backside guard's leading up and through. Yeah, go ahead.
On that triple tray, trio, whatever you want to call it, he's got to go all the way to the backside guard. Does it ever get followed up with the backside pulling guard?
No. Shouldn't. Now he's got it. Now he's got to navigate. When you're talking to the backside guard on when do I pull through, you know. And one of the reasons that we went to the back step, and on this one, the wider this guy is, we'll go open lead. But if he does go open lead, he wants to get his eyes up, and we tell him to pull up through the first available hole that's going to allow you to execute your block. When do I pull up? Hey, you come around the center, and here's that Mike linebacker, and here's a spot, get up in it. No one's telling you to go outside. Now, typically, the tray block, he's thinking that there's an opportunity probably going to happen outside the double team. But that's, the key is, and when you take, if you're going to teach a backstep lead, he's got to get depth off the line of scrimmage. If you're going to go open lead, he's got to get depth off the line of scrimmage so he can see and give himself a chance a little bit. He's got to lose some ground to gain ground as far as his point of vision. If you don't, he's screwed, okay? You don't want that guy going like this. If he's up through here like that, he's going to have a hard time. From a drawing standpoint, you really want him to be like that. You see what I'm saying?
He could possibly go around the trio.
He could go around the trio. If these guys are doing their job and knocking the hell out of that guy, yeah, he's going to get out and around it.
Okay.
No question. No question. But there's not, the thing with your guard is, there's not an exact answer. You're not going to be able to put him on a track and say, go exactly like this and you'll be right. Yeah, you got to play the game. Okay? All right, now, as far as our combination blocks, as you watch us work and go, and I talked a little bit in the O-line talk last week, understand this, anytime that we're working a double team combination block, the first thing that we're talking to these guys about, are get movement, okay? We want to get movement. And one of the things that's really helped us the outside guy on this, is we're telling this guy that he wants to knock that end across the tackle, okay? You're not just going to him and getting hip to hip. We're talking about taking that guy and knocking that defensive end inside the tackle. If we can knock the defensive end inside the tackle, then it's going to give us a great opportunity. Then we're going to have an opportunity to get up. And what happens is, a lot of times kids will get together on it and they're not sure when to leave. Who's the guy that leaves? Am I leaving or is he leaving? Do I have leverage? Do I have him? Is he mine? Where's he at? They've got to have their eyes on the backer. If the backer comes underneath, obviously the tackle's going to come through. If the backer goes over the top, we'd like the tight end to come through. But the tight end or the tackle in the deuce call is going to have an opportunity. If he knocks that guy inside, to declare it for everybody. Okay? And understand this. Remember what we said. I'm a gap player first, so I'm a guard. Anybody in my gap? No. Who's the next guy down? That's where I'm going. If that linebacker runs through or attempts to run through, right here, that's the tackle's gap. He's a B-gap guy. That's his gap to defend. If that guy runs through, he's going to come off and take that Mike linebacker. Now, it's not if he's standing there reading, if he runs through. He's got to be blitzing to come off. Okay? If he blitzes, he's mine. If this guy lines up in here like this, we'll make a now call to tell the tight end, hey, you're on your own. Okay? Tackle's going to tell him, I've got to threaten my gap. Now, you're on your own. Okay? Just keep that in mind as you work through this, because the biggest confusion that we have on any of these, in teaching these kids on the double team, the front combination, the double team combination, is when to come off, how to feel it, is that my gap, is he coming or not? And what you really don't want is, you don't want these guys working here and this guy just reading up and coming off to this guy. We really want to get to that backside linebacker, because that's the guy that's going to knock a hole in this thing. We've got somebody for the front side backer. Unless he blitzes the gap, let him go. Do not let him be a part of your thought process. Is everybody good on just the two-back power and what we're looking at and how we're doing it? Okay, let's look. We've got a bunch of examples on tape. Let's take a look at some of that. Bear with me. We're not sitting on a cowboy remote here. Now you're going to see some runs where it's blocked really well. You're going to see some runs where it's maybe not blocked as well, but when you got to get running back, it's going to make it makes up for some of that. Okay, there's going to be times where they're going to work with each other. I apologize here on the remote. I'm a little inept at these remotes. The remote's like this. This is our power concept. Ways to get to the power. That's a tailback starting and then motioning back into the backfield for us. Take a peek from behind. Okay, as you look at the alignment here. Great. Covered, Uncovered inside gap, this is the gap that's threatened. These two are going to work together to go backside. This tight end now is responsible for that defensive end on his own. This is the one thing about the power. There's a little bit of difference. I'll talk to you a little bit. I'll show you a rail scheme later on where if you've got a tight end that maybe isn't a butt kicker, that you might want to veer that guy inside versus a 9 technique to offset that a little bit. But if you've got a guy that can handle the point for you, and again, let me make this point clear. He doesn't have to kill this guy, all right? He needs to hold the point. He needs to just make sure that he holds the defensive end at the line of scrimmage. All right, we love for him to knock him 5 yards back. Don't get me wrong. You're always looking for that guy. But know this, okay? All that tight end's got to do is he's got to hang on to it. Okay? Tell him to hang on to that thing and just make sure that keep it at the line of scrimmage, and we're okay. If you get a tie, we'll tell that guy, hey, you get a tie, we're good. All right? Now these two guys in here need to work. That you'll see the inside player on the double team should be working an inside step first to secure his gap. So if anything runs his gap, he's taking that inside step. Now, we don't jab down inside. We tell the guy to pick it up and put it down. So he's going to pick it up and put it down right in the same plane that his foot is. So he's going to go just straight ahead with it. He's not going to go hard inside. We're not trying to get him to jump down in there. We're just trying to make him aware with that first step being an inside foot step that we're going to get this going. Now, this kid here is going to attack the inside collarbone. All right, on an 8 technique. The only time that he won't is if that guy gets in a wide 9 to him, then we'll tell him to go ahead and we'll still work his inside collarbone, but he's thinking now more of an out block. All right, if your tight end will trust himself to sell cutoff, his block will be really easy because what's going to happen is that defensive end is going to jump inside to hold the C gap, and now you use his momentum against him. And so what we'll teach that guy to do is he takes that inside step, and he's inside. And this, as soon as that kid starts to fight hard inside, on the cutoff block, we'll take a big arm, outside big arm, lock it out, and try to just drive him straight down the line of scrimmage and use his momentum against him. But if he oozes off in there, the guy's going to lock him up. He's got to self-cut-off like the ball's going away. If he does that defensive end every time is going to jump down in the C-gap hard, and he'll be able to use his momentum against that kid and get movement on him where he might not get movement if he's just sitting there trying to hit him up under the chin. Okay, let's take a look. Now, one of the things that I'm going to tell you is this. If your front side combination is good and gets movement to the backside, you'll see there we pick up the backside backer. If your front side combination is good and your tight end gets a tie, this guard might never get to his guy. All right? If he does, great. But there's times that front side linebacker is going to scrape outside the power. If the tailback's reading it inside out, he'll take care of that guy without the guard ever having to make that block. There's times that the guard never finds him. And I think one of the things our backs do a great job of is they're very patient. You know, our kids are patient. They play with great vision, and they really work it a gap out. They're not trying to jump into a gap. Okay. All right. Again, for us, here's the double team. Here's the kick out. Here's the lead. All right. Who am I kicking out? The first guy outside the tight end's block. First guy outside the defensive end. Who am I leading off on? Front side, inside linebacker.
Your tailback should pick a backwards
Yes.
with his offside foot.
Yes. See that back step? He's taking almost the same step that the guard's doing. It's a timing. It's for timing purposes. Okay.
Allows backside guard to get in front of him.
Allows that backside guard to get out in front of him. Exactly. And it doesn't. And what it's not doing is also allows him when he takes that step. I think one of the things that's really good about the step that we take is when he takes that step, everything's still facing right here. It's not a turn. You've seen guys do stuff like this. You know, we're just going to drop that back step, and that allows him to keep his eyes focused on everything that's happening in front of him, and his shoulders are parallel to the line of scrimmage versus opening the shoulders one way or another.
Coach,
Yes.
If the pulling guard eyeballing, is he looking for the middle linebacker or play side or the outside?
Play side, inside. All right. Unless, depending on how here's the deal. Okay, we're kicking out here. He should lead right there. We're working to that Mike backer. And here's the thing about the 40 front, guys. One of the things that can get a little bit dicey with the 40 front. You know, if you get a situation, I'll take it to the 40 just because this is going to give us the look I'm talking about here. You know, as you work this, if you, in the 40 front, if you lock him on the defensive end like this, Now the fullback's gotta know, you know, who do I have, who's our lead up, who's our kick out. Here's our lead up, there's the fullback's responsibility, and now we work it, boom, to here and to here. Now, what happens if they take and bring the rover down and it'll look similar to that? All right, now, we know this, but they gotta know who to work to. All right, and in this situation, here's the kick out, one to kick out, one to lead up, they're working to the next.
Is there a call for that, or is there communication?
Yeah, you can, we get it, if you get an even call, or we're gonna get a call from our center that's identifying linebackers, that's how you're gonna do it. It depends on what your language is and how you work that. But you know what, every kid, if they can figure out from linebacker depth, remember what I said? We got one to kick out, we got one to lead up. That's how we're gonna take care of the first two guys in the linebacker positions. Now, so who are these guys working to? Boom, boom, I'm gonna work to here. So even if I didn't hear a call, I should be able to figure it out if I work my rules.
Can you set up to the will, or do you just hand on the backside tackle?
Now, what we'll do, if we're playing a team that's going to play this a lot, we'll go ahead and run a backside tight ends in that situation, and we'll sift him up, or his first thing is to handle this gap, and he can come up late. But really, when we're going to play a 40 team, we're going to put a backside tight end in the game, and that's the guy that's going to hit this sift up to the will. Good question. As you guys know, most of the time in a clinic talk, you're going to put the good stuff on tape so you can get examples. But I'll tell you what, our kids do a great job of running this play from the line to the quarterback to the back, just all the way down and through. Again, remember now with your back, he's got to be thinking A gap outside. And a lot of times it's going to hit the A. Now, just as we look here, we're running the power this way. Now we've got a different look. Defensive end's now down inside. He's in the C gap. This guy's got nobody inside of him. There's no threat to his inside. So what the tackle's got to think is this. Hey, we know he's now considered covered, tackle covered. These two are going to work together. He's going to work down. Now, if the tackle had a 3 technique out in here, that's his gap, right? So he would have to go down and make a down call, and the tight end would, in essence, have that guy by himself. Not necessarily a great scheme to run to, but you could get it. You know, so what I'm saying is this, if you guys have a hard time seeing a picture that's paused. All right, right now, it looks like this. So these two are working together to the backside backer. All right, they're working back to the backside backer. If, for some reason, and some teams will do this to you on the power, that guy does this and is in a 3 technique now and is in that B gap, that tackle must work here, and now it just becomes a pure down scheme. Okay? He's got to work down. He wants to take care and protect the B gap, protect the C gap. So by alignment, we've got a guy in the A gap. Guard knows that's my guy. We should get a tray block here for the tight end. The tight end, knock this guy across. Can you get it done? Okay? You see, if we can get that, if we get the defensive end across inside, the inside half of that tackle, look how easily it makes a tray. Or, you know, that combination block now. And the tight end's going to come up and be able to work off. And as we step down, our technique is, it's for us, on that combination block, to this guy, what I tell him is, don't you act like you're by yourself, you've got no help. It's just a down block to that guy. Okay? It's nothing more than a down block to a tight end.
What is that on the tackle?
Tackle's going to step, protect, inside foot first, right? Boom, boom, and he's working to throw it and lift it. All right, with his eyes right here. Put his eyes in the back, throw it and lift it. If that guy disappeared and he doesn't get a piece of him, he works and goes. Okay, so his eyes are backside, inside step, throw the flipper, work to get lift. Now, tackle comes, the tight end does his job, works him across, and he just takes it over. Yep, and then they'll work together hip to hip late.
The fullback looks like he's coming straight downhill.
Well, Here's the deal. What you've got to teach that guy is he's got to take a hard inside-out angle. All right, the worst, in his mind, what's his worst-case scenario? Somebody who's trying to wrong-arm him. All right, and that's a bitch. And as he goes, he's really watching. He's almost right at that double team, and then he's working inside-out off that thing. But you can see here, I think the other thing you get here is you just see the patience and watch the tailback. You know, a lot of guys, his initial thought, right, he knows by defense. Coach Gould does a great job of helping our kids identify the defense. He's thinking double team, hug the double team, and as the double team starts, he's still looking though, he's still feeling A-gap out. And he sees the A-gap hole, boom, he's back inside. And he gets north and south in a hurry. Now here's the situation we were just talking about a little bit. Okay, you got three technique. You got a guy in the C gap, guy in the B gap. Tackle's going to, he's got to take care of the guy inside. Tight end's got to take care of his guy inside. Now here, watch the tight end. Sell the cutoff block. Get your eyes on the inside number. Sell the cutoff block. Use that against him. Now I'd like him to finish a little better. All right, but he gets great movement initially. It's a little bit high. Fullback knows he's got to kick that first guy out. One to kick out, one to lead up. We got to lead up. Now, the one thing that your guard and tackle got to think about is where the backer is I'm working to and how fast I might have to come off. And what we tell our guys is to understand, have an understanding of how much help you might have or not have. Whether it's the tight end of the tackle, if that will linebacker is, if you've got a tight end tackle combination going on and they're working to the wheel and that wheel is over, all right, we know that we're going to have to come off that thing quicker. It's going to happen faster. So you've got to have an idea of how fast that combination is going to happen. And a lot of times, the width or tightness of that backside backer that you're working to is going to tell you or give you an idea how fast I've got to come off that thing and make it happen. In this situation, we're uphill a little bit here. Okay, watch the tackle. Now he gets off here. He gets off to it. He sees his target. These two guys are working to this guy right here. We're kicking out. We're leading up. And that cat's right there. He's got to come off. Gets his eyes up, we'd have an opportunity there. You see, we're an arm away from taking that thing up to shoot. That's one of the things. You just don't, very rarely are you going to get an uphill block in this scheme. And I think that's just the key. That's the key to success for us, and we hang our hat on it. And I'm going to brag a little bit. I mean, in 2005, guys, this play averaged 10.4 yards a carry for us. Okay, the two-back power. Our gap schemes overall average just over 9 yards a carry. Yes. Okay, so now he's going to work his inside step, boom, bring the flipper right up, work it straight. You see, we don't want him leaning out into that guy. There's no lean out. Hey, step your gap, take it. Now he is on a track. Now this guy's thinking down block. All right?
That's all him.
That's all him. That's all him. Yeah. That's all it is. It's the same combination, just instead of these two, it's these two. Same technique. So when the tackle learns the inside technique on a tray, and he sees and feels what the outside is, he learns that, it makes those guys interchangeable.
Yeah.
The kids all become interchangeable on the play. Yes. All right, now. Just an example, look at the backside guard here. Eric Robertson is the kid back here, and I think he's going to work that back step pull. All right, the key to the back step pull, what we tell him, watch his first step, he's going to take his back step, his off leg, and he's trying to put that thing 1 yard behind his inside foot. 1 yard behind his inside foot is the target that we give him. And is he going to get it a yard there? It's a reach. I doubt it. But the key is, if he doesn't get depth on the first step, he can't execute that pull because he's going to be up into the line of scrimmage too soon. Get the depth, bang, come across, and now he's able to work across and keep his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage and see everything that's happening in front of him. I think it's absolutely excellent when he's got a deuce or dual call on the front side. A tray call, sometimes I think it's a little bit stretched, and I think that your open lead step's better for him because he might have further to go. that double team, he's probably gonna get outside of most of the time. So he's gotta go a little bit further, and this is a little bit slower, under control pull. But when you've got the guard and tackle on the combination, amen, run it, the kids will love it. Works transfers across to dance situations, they're awesome. You know, and what we're telling that pulling guard is when he gets up on the linebacker, guys, we're trying to cover that guy up. We're not telling him to pick a side. We're not telling him, hey, attack the play side number, attack this number. What we're telling him is to hit that kid right under the chin. All right? And what we're trying to do is cover the back up, cover the linebacker up, and give the back the opportunity to go either way. If we pick a side as a puller, then we've basically sentenced the running back to one way, and that's it. He's got one way to go now. You go like this, boom, and you're kicking it. Here I go. But you don't know as a guard that's pulling, is you don't know where's the next defender coming in. The tailback can see the next guy coming in. So you sit there, and if you force the tailback to go maybe inside your play, and the backside guy's coming, you just sentenced him to getting hit for a 4-yard gain. Instead of getting up underneath and covering him up, tailback sees that guy coming, and he slides to the outside of that block. Give the running back a two-way go. Now, for us, by game plan against these guys, you'll see a safety come down the middle over here. We did not count him in the count. He was going to be an outside leverage player. We felt the play was always going to be inside that guy, so we didn't count him in the count. And that's a little bit of game plan. They started him deep and then brought him down late. We left him out of it. And this is a play, if you guys have an opportunity to go listen to Ron Gould talk later on, he's going to talk about our perimeter plays. One of the plays he's going to talk about is our boss sweep, which I'm not going to get into, but the power and the boss sweep complement each other, and a defense can't be right. And he'll show you how it can't be right. Okay, he'll show you the second half of that deal. See him later on if you get a chance. Here's one that we got now. This just gives you an opportunity to see it hitting against movement. Okay. The team member lines up in a 3 and a wide 9 technique to you. Have a way to get to this play because it makes it too easy. But watch what you'll see here is now your offensive tackle, as that guy tries to slant back across his face, he's starting on the down block, and that's why we talked about yesterday with the offensive lineman not being in too big a hurry on the down block, so the guy that's working over the top you can adjust to and redirect. And you'll see OC here redirects on the tackle. Yes, sir.
Great question. You're talking about back, obviously, A gap, C gap.
Yes.
Discretionary.
Yes.
When that guard is pulling, there's a lot of circumstances that happen in every play.
Yes.
Does he actually have some type of window of opportunity? All of a sudden, he's taking that step as you prescribed. He's moving laterally, and all of a sudden, he tends to want to, let's say, go up, let's say, the B gap by circumstance.
Okay.
So that was drawn up.
Mhm.
But that thing gets blown up. Well, he, just by circumstance,
Oh, sorry, I thought it was dance. Good to go.
all right, by circumstance, if that thing kind of like gets tightened up, will he actually move, let's say, to C?
Slide it, yes.
Work it? So he's in a discretionary mode by
You betcha.
circumstance. So he's going to be working with the back in tandem,
Yes,
finding windows of opportunity. Is that correct?
that's correct. As your guard pulls, we talked about this a little bit, is he's looking, in his mind, he's thinking, what's going to give me the first opportunity to pull up inside and get to my block, and execute my block. Now, one of the things that we tell him is, hey, the double team's a good place to start, just outside, like you said, we'll go outside the double team when the tackle, when the tight end double, we'll go outside. It'll 99.9% of the time on the deuce, it's going to go outside. On the tray, it's a good place to start. He's thinking that, and if we get great movement, it's always going to happen. But if that double team gets stuck out there in the C gap, and he's going to pull up in there, then he's going to take it up inside. In your situation, he's thinking B gap, and all of a sudden it's balled up. But that's one of the reasons on the back step lead where he's working parallel, he can see that thing balled up and just slide it. And what we tell our tailback is that tailback is he's thinking A, B, C. He's got a couple different parameters. Thinking inside out. He's thinking hug the double team, relate to the puller. Right? So he's going to relate to the puller. But is the puller, understand this, the puller and the back aren't always going to go up in the same hole. They don't have to. They're not tied to each other. But that we tell that guard to find his way to his block. And you betcha, if that thing balls up, he slides it to the C gap, it could bounce. Not very often, but it could. And he's not wrong. So this is why you never say never, always, or forever. Does the power ever bounce outside? Not very often, but there's a time sometimes. Watch what's going to happen. Here you're going to get a wrong arm situation here. Where this guy wrong arms it, he's going to read it, and he's going to end up bouncing out of it. Okay? We should get a double team combination here. Here's who we're trying to kick out. Now what they started doing, Illinois starts trying to squeeze the tight end on his part of the down block, and that is making it very difficult for us inside here. Well, that's great. Watch the guard. Guard does a great job here. Yeah, he's just going to find his way. He ends up almost outside the kick-out block.
They think we're 10 guys right there.
Who are they? They could be.
There's no corner over there.
No. They struggled a little bit. Their defensive men had a bad day at Black Rock, too. 91 wasn't real sure about why he was playing this.
Hey, Coach. What do you guys'
You
best
betcha.
splits on this play? It's pretty tight.
You want me to tell you what it starts at, or you want me to tell you what it ends up
Yeah,
at?
what does it end up at?
Well, I'm going to take you through the whole thing. Our line splits are 18 inches. That's why on the first day of fall camp, first day of spring ball, okay? And then we start talking about, you know, if you've got a situation, you're going to work a double team combination or anything like that, you can squeeze that split. You can expand it if you're on the, there's times and places. Now, for a tight end, it's easy to change his splits because we just tell them, hey, don't always be wide on pass, don't always be tight in your combination, front side, back side, you can work that. Offensive linemen will start here, and they will, as time goes, go to here. And we end up we're closer to a foot than we are to 18 inches. And if we're on the goal line, forget it, okay? We're foot to foot.
How deep are you guys?
How deep are we alignment-wise? We are barely legal, okay? And for us, especially our tackles, we'll look a little bowed. Our one tackle, the one kid, 61, has a really funky stance. He opens up and he'll look deep all the time. Okay, I think we miss I'll go back and talk to you a little bit about this. Here's where you can get into problems a little bit with trying to tell your guys what to expect or what not to expect. All right, there are no guarantees on this play. But we go into the Stanford game, and one of the things they did was they played it a lot like Illinois played us at the end. They wanted to squeeze the tight end's block all the time. So we're talking to the guard and we're talking to the fullback about, hey, if the fullback gets wrong arm, we can go ahead this week and try to take it outside, and we had all these cool things going on. And to be honest with you, and everybody reads it as that, but if we read this play just the way we should read it day in and day out, we'd have been fine. And sometimes you can overthink or overanalyze. We come up with all these cool ideas, and we really left a little bit on the table, I thought, because we as coaches gave the kids too many things to think about. Now all of a sudden, you've taken one of the advantages of the angle run schemes, which is just being able to come off the ball and know where you're going, and you put some thought into it. You put doubt in their minds, and when you do that, now you get some stuff that's not great. I think the reason I put this play on is we had more in it, and plus it gave you an opportunity to watch us. Just another way to get to it. We'll start the fullback week, motion him over. We'll do it with an H. We'll do it a lot of different ways. But you can see kind of where he gets, he feels the guard going around the end, and he's going to go with it. the guard there really made us, he predetermined that, boy, I'm playing Stanford, and Stanford's going to do this, and I'm going to go outside. From the get-go, he was going outside. It's a great play for us, a really good play into the boundary out of Twins. We start with him weak, bring him back across. Now they're going to adjust and come down a little bit with the safety. And we actually end up picking him off because the linebacker gets picked off. Tell your puller, if he gets up in the hole and that linebacker disappears, the one thing he cannot do, don't stop. Once you make that decision and turn up in the hole to go get that backer, maybe he gets hung up, maybe he blitzes. You know what happens? Here's this kid, he's looking for the frontside backer. The frontside backer blitzes and the tackle blocks him, and all of a sudden he gets up in there, and what's he do? He stops to look around. Don't stop. All right? If you're not going to block anybody, at least get out of the way. Okay? Keep right on mowing. Look inside for anything coming to straight up over the top of you. Don't stop. Because all he's going to do when he slows down and stops is going to gum up the hole. The back's going to run up his back end, and the play's going to become disjointed. Just go. Now our tackle here gets freaking. He can't figure out why they're playing a 1 and a 7 and no one's around. Okay, you can see he comes up. He's like, well, so what he did was when he sees a 1, he usually thinks tray, so he's going to what we call air tray that. All right, so he's working his air tray steps. Hey, there's no one there. He's stepping with his inside foot. Boom, watch. He's going to pick it up, put it down. He's got his flipper on air. Then he's going to go find his backside backer. Looks a little goofy, but the kid's ingrained. Okay, he knows his job, he knows the rules, and he does it. But there's an example of the linebacker fills inside. This guy really loses sight of him and keeps pulling around the edge and finds another colored jersey. And the linebacker that jumps in the A gap and the ball goes outside of it because the back bounces it, can't make the play, and now the safety that's come down that Oregon thinks is in a great position to make the play ends up blocked, and it becomes a touchdown run. One of the things that's kind of fun, when these two teams get together now, you got to know, and I think most of you guys know, that a lot of our staff comes off that staff, and the two teams do a lot of similar things defensively and offensively, so everybody knows everybody, and you get into a lot of serious game planning trying to figure out, and you'll see they put a lot of folks to the tight end side of the run game. We're just stubborn enough to say, you know what, we're going to run the football in here. So what happens is they're going to walk the guy down. They've got a guy sitting out here. We work to him. We really should pull and lead to that guy right there. That's just a good example of just hitting the ball downhill and running. If you can get a hat on a hat and hit this thing downhill hard, you're going to make hay. Okay, earlier you saw us bring the tail back in. Now we're bringing the full back in. Now, here's the tough part of that. It's got to be against a team. It's got a fairly defined look over here, all right? If they're going to drop somebody down or maybe change the fullback's job or his responsibility, it's not a good idea. But what you've done, guys, and I know this looks silly, possibly, but what you've done is you're in a huddle here and you've got 12 personnel in the game. You've got one tight end, two backs, that defensive coordinator saying this is what they're doing. And then all of a sudden you come out, do a one back, and a lot of teams will make a one-back check or a coverage check on you, and they check the coverage, and then you bring that guy back in, and you get what you want. So, I mean, just things that you look at when you're looking at your opponent that's going to cause them problems. And how does it complement something else we might be doing, possibly in the passing game? Okay? Now, the reason this is in, this guy is a very gifted player, but he doesn't make a great read here. Okay, and I'm telling you, he's absolutely one of the most gifted guys I've ever seen run the football in here. But you know what? Here's what happens to him. he gets spooked a little bit. The guard's a little slow there, and he sees that. He sees this guy and feels him and starts to come off. So our fullback made the line and fullback made a great adjustment when the backers bumped. We bumped our targets, and we're in great shape. But Marshawn just needs to trust it, be patient, patience with the tailback. I always tell the team struggles a little bit. They show up on here. Okay, just an example here, just again, looking at the tray on the front side, working with the backside backer, the kick out, finding the front side linebacker, trying to eat that guy up, get up under him, watching the back step lead pull.
Is that backside linebacker going to be a pretty good athlete to make that play on a consistent basis? Or?
That guy right there?
No, yeah, number 11. I mean, they ever start creeping him in? Did I shut that down?
No, well, yeah, they'll start creeping him over. This kid,
Yeah.
to get there. So you know what, for us, it's as you look at what they're doing, and you know they've got the extra guy that they've actually brought back in there, and what he did was he kicked the linebackers over to give him an extra guy on the backside. He just couldn't get to it. Yeah, it's a hell of a play. It's a tough play to make.
Do you ever counter to go with the power?
Yeah.
Or back at it,
How is that put on this thing? Okay, real quick, just on the one back power concept number 2. Let me know. Somebody let me know when I need to stop this thing. One of the things in the one back power, the only difference is now again from tackle to tackle, it really doesn't change what's going on. But what happens to you is once you go to one back, now the tight end not only becomes a point of attack guy, but he really takes the place of the kick-out block. He becomes that guy. So you're a guy down. So obviously then defensively, there's certain looks that you want to run the one-back power to and certain looks you really don't want to run it to. You really don't want to run the one-back power anytime there's 2 guys outside the tackle, on or outside the tackle. It's not a great play. You still can do it. But if you've got an end and a Sam outside in the one-back power, these guys have got to base this thing now, and now you've lost the gap team combination concept that you like. Where you really like the one-back powers to really do a 3-man side and a one-back set, where somebody's playing like this with an off, or a guy outside. As long as you don't have 2 guys up on the line of scrimmage with the tackle outside, you're golden. Okay? Good to run, not great. You can run it, you can rule it, but it's not a great play. Okay, so now, in our one-back power concept, no longer do we have the ability, we don't have a kick-out and a lead-up blocker. We've still got our lead-up guy, we've got one to lead up, but now, that tight end has become he's become a 2 guy. He's really the fullback and the tight end, in essence, is what he's become. So again, 3-man side, with a guy off in leverage, it's a great play. We can run it, we can still have our double team combination to the backside. Tight end's still doing the same thing he always does. Okay? Now, the only difference to him is, his rule is, instead of block defensive end, which was the base rule that he started with on the power, his base rule is block man on. Alright, so he gets this look over here. Now he's going to block man on, he's going to block the Sam backer. Here, block man on. Base call, block man on, man on. Now, so you guys can just see the difference here. You can see what we lost here is this. Now you've got 2 front side blocks, and to us, what we consider, we're running the ball this way, and we've got 2 guys blocking here like this, and we're trying to get the ball inside. These are uphill blocks to us. We really don't want to have that. That's not what we're looking for on this play. So if we're going to play a team that's an underfront team, we're probably not going to carry the one-back power in it. We're not going to carry it that way. Okay? We might go to a one-back set and still run our 2-back power by motioning a guy and bringing a guy across to be the kick-out guy. But we feel at that point, anytime you've got that type of look over here, then you need to have a kick-out blocker. Okay? Love it. Like it. Okay? Anytime we've got this look, we're okay. We like that to the one back power. Two on outside the tackle on the line of scrimmage, not a great play. Now, if you're going to carry it against a team that's a multiple team, you might want to package this. Put it with a pass play, put it with a check, put it with something else that says, hey guys, we're either going to run this or something else. Okay? That's maybe taking that next step.
So the rules are all the same except
Yep.
for the tight end.
Yeah, this is the only guy that's got it. Now, the difference is, he still has that guy that he normally would block, right? If he's covered, I've got my man, so his rule hasn't really changed. Just his rule changes.
Well, no, you throw the, isn't that tackle responsible for the B gap when you
Right.
pull back in there, so his
Yep.
steps are a little different?
His step's different. He'll change his technique, but he won't change his rule per se. You see what I'm saying? He's still targeting the same guy, but you're absolutely correct. And so now what you've got is you've got base, and you have no what? There's no B gap defender. Okay, so run through's going to hit you in the teeth. That's why, not good. You know, if we got caught in a game with this, we'd rule it and run it. You know, but we probably wouldn't run it again. That is a time where we'd say, ooh, they're running. You know, happens. You don't think a team's going to come out and run under front against you. You think it's a good idea. You take it into the game plan. All of a sudden, the second series, they come out and they start running under front. And you got to put the one back power away. You know, you're not going to make a good living on it because that guy is going to run through that gap.
If they reduce the weak side, so the center goes backside and
Yes.
the onside guard climbs up.
Right. Exactly.
So then the bucket, yeah.
Down here. So now what do you got? You've got this. If they're playing a backside inside backer, you've got nobody to him. All right. Remember, this play is an ideal play against an ideal numbers. You know, it is a play that's not going to work. It's not a week-to-week play. All right. It's a game plan play. It's a game plan play, or it's a package play. For us, it's a package play. We carry it in a package. But I don't know time-wise if you guys, how many guys carry a lot of packages. You know, at the high school level. I don't know if that's easy or not easy, just because I haven't been there and done it. But that's how we carry it. We usually carry it as a package play with a protection pass, you know, with a drop back concept that we like to get the ball down the field on. Let's see if we can run to a couple of these. And I will tell you this, our one back power has been, if you said, Coach, which one of these plays are the best or not so good or okay, we've gotten okay mileage out of this. When I say okay mileage, we've averaged a little over 5 yards a carry on this play. I mean, that's good. That's good mileage, and we shouldn't be greedy. But if you compared it to the other gap plays that we've run, it's probably been one of the least successful, really, play out of the bunch. It's been good to us. It hasn't been great to us, and the other stuff's been great to us. And these we just got a couple looks at. Okay, so here, like the numbers, you know. In fact, we really love the numbers because the inside linebacker really back here. We're not going to worry about this guy. We've got a nice 3-man side, and we can block that 6-man box. Okay, they've cheated this. We've got to get back up to it and get up in a hurry. But we've got a 6-man box, we can get it all blocked. Need to be a little more aggressive here, need to get more movement. We get good displacement. We're good with our knockoff. Now, at times, you can't look for too much. You know, tell a kid to make a decision, he's patient, but once he makes and commits, commit. Commit and go. Now, what makes us play a great play is we catch him in a blitz, in a stunt.
As soon as that guy plays that guard, as soon as he steps in, he feels nothing, he's going right to back.
You bet. He's not looking to help. Now, I will tell you this These guys consistently, this team right here loves this blitz, and when there are two backers lined up like that, we know that blitz is coming. The tackle knows that guy's going to end up coming across. Our guard's actually probably a little quick, but he's anticipating that he's got a backer that's going to straight to him. Okay, they love that. That's a big part of their run-stop defense. And you know what? You learn from lessons played. 2 years ago, we went there and didn't have an answer for that blitz. Not a great answer. And so it was a hit and miss. We ran some plays up in there and got our ass knocked off, and we ran some plays in there and hit them and seamed them. This year, we worked it a little bit more, taught the kids the alignments and how it looked and how it was going to happen, and our kids did a better job of handling it up front. We did a better job of coaching it to give them a chance. Now, the only thing I'm going to talk about on the puller here, hey, puller, nothing there. Don't hesitate, just keep coming. You see he's going to be telling him, look inside to up in front, but go. You know, he still kind of choked it down just a little bit because he was shocked. He's like, oh shit, where's the white thing? Here, I think the back does a nice job of finding his way to the hole, and then he relates nice to the guard. Again, guys, just different formations, things we do.
So this is really on a two-back play, isn't it?
But it's
two-back power?
Yeah, we're cheating. Okay, but no. And here's what I'm saying. Take that guy out of this, we still like this play. Right? We talk about it, if that's a leverage defender outside and off the line of scrimmage, we got a six-man box to us, it's all good. What we did was we added him here, but his rule wasn't so much the fullbacks as it was block number 4. So he was going to go, that guy was deep. This guy right here is down a little bit. He's at about 7 yards. Game plan-wise, we thought they were going to play him deeper, 9, 10 yards, and we were just taking him up to the safety. But in essence, yeah, it's right on the edge of that. Is it? If we had the fullback back here and they lined up like that, he'd go to that same guy. But in our system,
But your tackle isn't blocking those rules.
right, exactly. Everybody else is blocking punch. He's window dressing to handle number 4. Everybody else is blocking the punch play. You'll notice that that's a play a lot of times that we motion the receiver, somebody over there to take that guy off and get to remove the defender, the 4th defender.
And here you run it kind of out of the draw.
Yeah. And that's why we've got it on screen here. This is still our punch play, but now what we've done is we offset, and guys, the reason that we started offsetting this play was because again, when you self-scout yourself, and what we found was every time the back was offset and the one back set, University of California, Cal was doing what? Throwing the ball. And so we said, okay, now we sit down and say, all right, we've got to come up and run the football with an offset back. And this was one of the plays that we said we'd go ahead and run that with. And it worked out well for us. I mean, he's just taking a slide gather to it, receiving the ball very similar to draw ball handling. So again, carryover, right, from one play to the next. For the back, it's the same carryovers. Reads don't change. Doesn't change up front. These guys up front, that one back power is one back power.
You're the quarterback and your back's just running draw, but everybody else is running the punch play.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to jump real quick so you guys can take a look at something. All right? I'm not going to show you. I don't have any great clips of this. And to be honest with you, it's not a big part of what we do, but it is something you can do. And that's our rail concept. And the rail concept, from a rule standpoint, where it becomes different is for the tight end. On a 9 technique, we tell him if he's head up to outside, that you're going to veer inside to the next linebacker. Not the first linebacker, but to the next linebacker. Okay? what that does for you is it allows, if you've got a kid that might struggle against a down defensive end, it gives you an opportunity. In the 7 technique, you're down blocking, we think he can live with that. If he's in an 8 technique, 9 technique, and the guy's if we're having a hard time maybe tight reaching that guy or hammering on the line of scrimmage, you want to rail him down inside. But what's the trade-off? The trade-off is this. You better have an ass kicker at fullback because now he's kicking out on the defensive end. Okay? And that's
More
what...
the traditional power and the old-fashioned power.
Right. And that's the difference between what we do, what we call our power, and what we call our rail concept, which is our pure angle concept. And the downside to this, and the reason I just wanted to show it to you and have it in here is this. I think it's great, all right? At times, if you've got a really good fullback, you've got a tight end that might not be a great player, then the rail concept's a good idea. I think if you don't have a guy back here at the fullback position that's a butt kicker, it's a little bit tough. Now, the upside to that for us, because you're trying to kick somebody out now that's a pretty good player, your fullback, if he's not a great player, is going to struggle on that block if you're going to get squeezed a lot. We're not a huge proponent of the rail scheme. I think there's a time and a place for it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Coach, on the 7 technique, are you looping your tight end, or is he still basing?
No, he's basing it.
Basically,
He's attacking that guy's inside number. We're not going to loop him and get into stuff like that. You betcha. Because typically when there's a 7 technique, there's somebody that's in proximity to him that's playing a force player. If you try to loop him inside, now you're back, you're going to end up with 2 outside, and it's not a great idea. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and still handle that. It's only when he's got an 8 technique or 9 technique that he's going to rail inside. And again, now the concept doesn't change for a whole lot of people, but it changes his concept. And then the thing that happens is now we know if we're on a rail, these guys now have to know that they have to work what? One backer further back. You see what I'm saying? So now your front side combination, double team combination's got to work one further back because the tight end's inside, going inside to the next.
Coach, when do you choose hard and tight end, like in that 80 front?
We're coming, we're coming to it. We're coming. You're jumping the gun, darn it. You're one ahead, okay? Okay, now, next concept. Our arc concept with our tight end. And the question is, when do we arc the tight end? All right, we'll arc him versus an 8 technique or a 9 technique. We'll tell him versus a 7 technique. Everything's still on. Now what we'll do is we'll hand signal the fullback. We'll just hand signal him with our hand to tell him what I'm doing. Because that fullback, we don't want him to be guessing, hey, are you arcing him? Is that guy an 8? Is he a 7? What is he? When do we do it? We're going to do it again, maybe, possibly, and I think this is a situation where we would tend to arc more than we would rail. And if we're going to arc him, was that the loop question that was earlier? You guys were talking about this guy or looping back inside? Okay, arcing outside. All right, I'm with you. Here's where we're going with it. This fits our personality as far as the power goes better than the rail scheme does. Okay? And what we're telling him is 8 technique, 9 technique, he's going to arc to number 4. Okay? And as he comes off that thing, I played with this thing, and what we'll try to do is we'll be under control and try to flash our hands at that defensive end. And we'll actually try to, if our kid's pretty good at it, we'll try to take our inside hand and just kind of punch that guy's outside shoulder as we go. And try to what we're trying is to just entertain him for just a second. Entertain his eyes, entertain his thought, let him feel reach. What I'll talk to the tight end about is make this defensive end feel reach. And if he feels it, then he'll widen naturally with us, and it's going to help that fullback. And that's why I like it better than I do the rail scheme, because now you're giving the fullback a chance. Now you might be asking him to block an ass kicker, but at least you're trying to influence that guy a little bit on the way. And you're not giving him a pure eyes on me.
Is your preference still to block the tight end on him, but this a change-up if the tight end's not as good of a blocker?
Yes.
Going that way?
And you know what? We will, versus if we think a guy's we're playing a great defensive end, then that's an opportunity for us to work that, okay? And if we think we're going to get a lot of 8 technique against that guy, and that's the hardest thing for us, then we might carry the arc concept into the game. We're always going to start with the power concept. As far as what do we put in first in our installation, we're going to put power in. This is a secondary concept that we're going to use
based on their personnel or how that guy plays it. Somebody, I think, had a question.
Yeah,
Go.
splits, what do you tell the tight end on splits on that 40?
On this,
Yeah.
he'll go 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we split it out a little bit. We don't go any wider than 2.
No water.
Nah, you know, I'm not a big 3-foot split guy to give you, you know, what I'll tell them is this: if we're gonna inside release on a pass route, give yourself an extra 6 inches or something like that, and work your release. But I think it becomes too much of run pass if that guy's like, and we tend to be tight versus wide. You know, some guys, you know, we're gonna put you in a 5-foot split, and here we go, everybody. You know, just philosophically, we tend to be a little more constricted.
Can we fake out of that, since he's already arcing, he's already in a route?
Play action pass. We throw power pass out of this, yes. Okay, this is probably one of the lead play action passes. We'll take the fullback to the flat, put the tight end on the flag. That is in the play action talk, we'll roll with that, but yeah, that's probably one of our main green zone play action passes. Great short yardage play action pass, and it all fits. Okay, that's our arc concept.
Coach, how would you block a, you call it boss look, where wide 9 and a linebacker head up on the tight end, kind of the bear look?
Oh, the vice look? Fullback's got the vice player. Down here, sorry. Okay, now, and the reason is this. If he goes out, this guy's usually what? When you've got that vice linebacker or boss linebacker, as you call it, what's this guy's responsibility in coverage? He's man-to-man. So as soon as the tight end blocks out, he does this, and then he looks.
Yeah, your normal power?
What's that? Our normal power, we go we go 2 different ways. We've got the power concept, which is one way. We've got the arc concept, which is one way. And then here on the power, we're going to stay to our gap. All right? This is an argument that goes round and round from my standpoint, for me, for my guy, because it's like, okay, when we're doing this is how you want to block. When we're doing that, we change this rule up. And the power concept initially starts with us thinking that we're going to get great movement on a little guy and kick the Sam out. The reason that it works for us when we say the arc concept to go out is because our arc is outside thought to us, so it works rule-wise, but it's 2 different things. You know, my thing is, hey, we tell him on a 7 technique, on the arc concept, he still has a 7 technique. On vice, why don't we just keep him on the little guy? But we're just trying to keep the arc concept, and that's kind of the argument that we, staff-wise, the discussion, not argument, but the discussion that we get into is which is the best way. And on the power, we'll go ahead and try to drill the little guy out of there. On the arc concept, we'll try to go and see if we can borrow that guy's eyes and let the fullback have the inside-out shot on him. Okay, got a 9 technique outside. We're going to go ahead and arc this guy. Okay, what we've done, this is a couple years ago. What we'll try to do now is take this guy's inside hand and punch that shoulder on the way by. But you can see here, watch the defensive end. You know, there's just a slight hesitation. He just holds his width a little bit, makes it a little bit easier for the fullback to get inside out. Now, this is our concept, or what we put this under this family. You're going to say, Coach, that's not really an arc, but it's a way for us to run this conceptually out of the bunch set, out of what we call our triangle set. He's still working. The reason that we call it arc is because we're going to motion him and kick the inside guy out with our fullback, and he's working man over. So for the tight end, otherwise he'd be thinking, I've got to block that inside guy. We have to keep this in our arc family. Great play though, guys. Complements the pin sweep stuff that you guys, you know how you're pinning and pulling? The pin sweep and this play right here complement each other out of that triangle punch set. Alright, if you're doing any of the pin sweep stuff, you need to run the arc, or the arc power out of it. And it looks one-backish because what we'll do is our fullback is the inside guy in the triangle, and we motion him to get him inside out. Is the way to get that done.
What do you prefer to run this offset, or do you like the angle better on offset? What's your opinion?
You know what? We like the angle for this kid. He likes it better because he can get on the guy sooner. And it's instead of being, when you're from, you can run it from the eye, and run it from the eye for forever. And it's inside out, you run your course, and everything's great. If you ask the fullback what he likes better, he'd rather be offset because now it's not as much of a, it's more, he can attack downhill, inside out. The kids like it better, and they can get on him faster. If you're playing a guy that's going to come up the field or wrong arm in a hurry, offsetting you allows you to get into that block just a little bit sooner and keep the width on the hole, keep the width on that side of the defense. That's the biggest reason. It just allows you to hold the width of the defense. And the fullbacks like it better because they get into it sooner. But this becomes an easy block. Now this is a great, hey, you're playing a 9-technique team, 8-technique team, this is a great way to get it done, and you're not asking that tight end now to be an ass kicker at the point of attack. All right, real quick. How are we doing on time? Does anybody know what time it is?
It's 11:35.
What's that mean to me? I got 8-10 minutes? Oh. All right, guys, Dave, now, this is our counter concept. And I put it in as our F counter concept. We do it as an H. We can pull a tight end. I've pulled a backside tight end in a 2-tight set. You can pull a tackle. I will tell you this, and just philosophically where we come from is we're not gonna pull that guy near as much as we're gonna use an H or a fullback or somebody like that to do it, okay? And the bottom line is, for us, it's just a little better athlete that you're asking to get that done, okay? For us. You know, and we also feel that it helps us secure the backside. I'd rather secure the backside with an on-the-line line of scrimmage player than I would pull this guy and ask the fullback to secure the backside. Okay? We've had problems in the past of trying to get that fullback in there to seal that thing on the guy that's running hard through the backside gap. Okay? So for us, it's a trade-off. We're going to ask this guy now to be the puller, one to kick out, one to lead up. Doesn't change. Our rules don't change. To the front side guys, you call power, you call the arc, you call the counter. It ain't changing. Nothing's changed. We still got a guy kicking out. We still got a guy leading up. We just changed responsibilities as to who's doing it. Now, the backside guard, instead of being the lead-up guy, he's the kick-out. And now for us, the fullback, instead of being the kick-out guy, is now the lead player. He's the lead blocker. He's going to be the lead-up guy.
Steps for your tailback?
Step for the tailback, and we've gone around on this, and really it's become that drop step, back step. And some guys do this, and, really kick it hard. And you'll see on this, you'll probably see 2 or 3 different ways. But really what it's finally come down to is that same back step, timing step, and go. We don't try real hard.
So what makes the counter the quarterback?
I think the quarterback more than anything. We cheated a little bit. Watch, we'll get to, let's see here, and we'll take a peek at it. He's gonna get some to it, and we've played this thing, and he'll rock it. He might drop step rock it. No, for him it's drop step 2 times. And again, we've changed this thing a couple times, so I'm probably not the best guy to tell you how we're working the footwork on this thing. What the biggest thing that we've come down to is this. I will tell you this: we're not going to turn his shoulders. We're not rocking the shoulders. Okay. So what counters become for us more than anything is a way to change up who the kick-out blocker, who the lead blocker is, not so much who and the quarterback action. But our quarterback reverses on the power too. So we'll slow his timing down just by his footwork. See, it's back step, gather, go instead of just rock and go. That's the difference.
Do you ever run any, I don't know what you call it, to the weak side, away from the tight end, a power look?
Yeah.
So it would come off the counter, because I've noticed on that back step weak here, So that counter's coming off of, what play do you call that to the weak side?
We have, where our fullback's gonna be weak is our zone play. When we're in two back, we'll start that way in a weak back set, okay? That's about it. Our cut play, our zone play, really.
Kind of power weak then.
No, is it in our offense? Yes. Do we run it? No. Four-man side takes us out of that, you know. Now, we will run what we call our bob play, which is fullback weak up on the linebacker, but we're not gonna pull to, instead, we don't have a kick-out lead concept on that weak side. I guess to answer your question, we don't run pure, you're talking about just lining up and being able to,
And some kind of power concept to the weak side.
yeah, and just run that. You can run to a three-man side, but I'll be honest with you, we don't see a lot of pure three-man side stuff. They're usually working. If we've offset the fullback, somebody's lurking down in here, and it just wasn't a good play for us. Now, we will run, and what I have on the end of that is our tackle pull play, or what we call our truck play, which is our, it's a gun run, or but it's a six-box rule, So what you'll see for us, is we're not gonna probably, get to it, but if let's say we're getting something here, where we can, work the double team back and pull the tackle, type of thing. Or for us, I kind of screwed you on that. We really want to run that to a one technique, and we'll pull the backside tackle like that. But we don't run any pure two-back power scheme back to the weak side anymore. It's just we saw so many four defenders looks back there that when we packaged it, we hardly get called. So it just wasn't something that we can do it. It's in our offense. It's in our playbook. It's not something that's going to jump out on top of you. Yes. I'm sorry. No change. No change for the tight end. No change for the tackle. And here we're actually doing this with an H. Okay, this is actually an H counter. We're our wing set. Now this is a big set for us, so we line up a lot with two tight end wing, and now to bring the wing back and be the puller, it's a natural fit for us. We do a lot of heavy back stuff, so it's a natural for the fullback to come back to us. Okay, now the arc concept can carry over to also the, I had an arc concept on it. Arc, am I on it? Yeah. No. Oh yeah, we are. Okay, now stop. This is, when we want to run counter arc, there's counter back to what you're talking about. This is 2 years ago, and I actually had one on here, I didn't think I did. Now, what we will do here is not a power concept, but a counter concept to this side, and put him on the fourth defender. And pull.
You still got a fourth defender guy, and you're bringing your H back to it.
Right, exactly. So what you got, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, so we'll just put it up really quick. For us, this is a big part of what we do. Okay, so we lined up, we go here with our wing. Now, we want to run backside, weak side, counter / power, but for us it'd have to be counter, right? So we're going to put our fullback over here. Now you've got number 4 here, but what we run is basically what we call our arc concept, and we're arcing him, whether he'd be, we could conceivably be like that, and arc him to 4, but we keep it here. Now our arc counter is going to put him here, we call it force. When we're running, we call it force. And now, kick out, lead up, and he takes care of that fourth defender over there. You've got to be a 2-back team that's going to run wing, and run wing in your offense, and now it becomes a viable play backside too.
Unless you want to pull that backside tackle, which you never do.
Which we don't do, exactly. For us, we got to get the wing. You can go like this, now pull this cat and go, seal him down inside. The tough thing is now, when you do that from this look, and your fullback's over here, you're covering a lot of hay with just a center and a tight end trying to take care of any run-through stuff here. So if they've got a nose at one technique and they run that guy off his edge, you're asking that tight end to go a long way. And that's the, hey, let's do this and let's leave that guy in, put a better athlete at it, let's be more secure on the backside. That's our thought. And again, this isn't something we majored in. This is actually from our 2003 season. Decided to hunt and find it. One thing you'll see here is what we tell this guy is he wants to really sell that kick-out block. His initial path is right off that guy's shoulder. See it? And our fullback actually does a little rip through his, we want this guy as occupied as possible to make that kick-out block as easy as you possibly can. Hold width on it, let the guard get inside out on it. I'll run this really quick, guys. This is just our, basically now this is something that a lot of gun teams are going to run. You can run it under center, you can run it from the gun. For us, again, this is an offset run play. This is our tackle pull play. Back to the weak side, you got to run it to a one technique. Don't like it to a three because you end up going base, and it's not near as good. Okay, talk about receivers playing 11 guys, playing hard all the way down. Watch number 7 on the end of this run.